Welcome, welcome, as always, Metal Summoners. Thank you guys so much, as always, for being a part of this show. This is your show. We're so happy to have you. Thanks for taking another trip to your island of misfit toys with the ever so popular and radiantly smiled Psycho Steve, Angel Alamo, the Empress Bobby Dreyer. We appreciate you guys so much. And before we bring in our guest of the episode that you guys all know is coming, as always, we like to talk to you guys about what's coming up for the Metal Summit and appearances that we've got going. We know that Bobby was just kicking it last night in Hershey and having a great time on the Motley tour. And as you guys know, coming up very, very shortly is Masquerade in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania at the 2300 Arena. We are super stoked to be a part of that. Bobby will be there doing all things Bobby like and shooting photos. Angel will be there rocking out, doing interviews and everything. And the show is being co-hosted by myself and my brother, Psycho Steve. So, Steve, let's kick it down to you to talk a little bit about Masquerade.
So, 3 days of over 30 bands. Mr. Brad Lee and his amazing crew, Angie, Jenny, and the rest of the gang, and Scott, and us. We're going to be kicking Philadelphia's ass with a lot of brotherly love, of course. So we're starting it off on Thursday, headlining with a great band. Let me see, who's headlining? Michael Grant and the Assassins. Mike, you might know him. He used to play guitar for LA Guns.
I do, yeah.
Well, hello, Mr. Poley.
Hey. Oh, Mr. Ted.
How are you?
How you doing?
How are you?
What's up, bud?
Oh my
And
God!
then,
Rocking
of course,
the world.
we got
Look at you guys.
Friday night with a cornucopia of bands too, and then of course Saturday we have Mike's great band
Are you
playing.
reading from a teleprompter?
Right? Yeah, I should get a teleprompter, shouldn't I?
Yeah, dude.
How about a titty
Sounds
prompter?
awful.
There you go. That too. Over the shoulder boulder holder. Is that what it's called? Something like that. But yeah, so we got over 30 bands. Ted's playing on Friday, I believe.
Yes.
Or Saturday. I don't know my dates. I can't even remember my name half the time.
That's all right. Just
He's
read the
on
teleprompter.
Friday.
I'm
Okay,
typing
yeah.
the stuff for you for the teleprompter
Please do.
on what to say. Okay.
Hey,
So-
Ted, before one thing, I got to give my condolences of your Epiphone that got destroyed. Oh my God, I was like crushed on that.
My guitar was feeling exactly like you, crushed.
Oh,
Well, you know, it came by UPS. They call them United Package Smashers. So what are you going to say? You know, it wasn't one of the real good ones. They're always good, but luckily they picked a good one to smash.
so
Unfortunately,
we're gonna throw this in, but Ted, I got to show you this. Look, it's a little bit of Randy here with a with a
Is that
Floyd.
Hold on.
74?
Let
What
me
is
give
that?
it let me give it the close up. Hold on.
That was
Oh,
cool.
wrong
Is that a
picture.
74? I don't know. My glasses on.
It's a 74, but Gibson built it for me.
Did they? Hey, guess what? If you give me time, I'll go get my real 74. You want to see mine?
Wait,
Yeah.
no.
You
well,
show me yours, I'll
bring
show
my-
you
Hey,
mine.
you bring your 74 out, I'll bring my 59. My wood's older than yours.
Okay, you win. The 59, you win. Okay, I can't do that. I've been unemployed for 2.5 years, but I do have a 74 white one. Maybe we can do some trading. I'll trade it for some food or
Hey,
something like that.
whatever. Well, but Ted, I love that you called it, chimed in. So I really want you to talk about what you have going on this Friday night, buddy.
Oh man, well coming up, I mean in the not too distant future, my New Jersey people and my Pennsylvania right over the border of New Jersey people, Vineland, New Jersey, Landis Theater, a rare solo appearance, or medium rare as I like to say, with my awesome solo band, and we're going to do a really cool theater show with so many surprises that even I haven't thought of most of them yet, but you can rest assured it's going to be a lot of fun. We've actually sold a bunch of tickets so far. Very thankful. Love to see everybody there. This Friday, a portion of my proceeds always goes to help support no-kill animal shelters. So while you have me, I appreciate you sending out that message. Everybody, please support a no-kill animal shelter near you. I love you, and I thank you for that. And if you're not doing anything Friday, come see me. And if you are, cancel your plans and come see me. Vineland,
Yes.
New Jersey at the Landis Theater this Friday. And I love you guys. Thank you so much.
And
for letting
you
me do
guys
that.
have, and you have a great
Absolutely.
band opening up for you, Mr. Ted. You have a good friend of ours, Damian Monte Carlo opening up for you. So
Monte Carlo, you know what? I've sold a bunch of tickets, and I think they've probably sold like 3/4 of those tickets. I hear they're excellent. I'm looking forward to hanging with them. And like I say, you'll be rocking out. You come on down, and we're looking forward to
I
seeing
will
you.
be there, Ted. I will be shooting. I will be doing everything. I will be.
Well, if you're
supporting-
shooting, then I'll be performing in a zigzag pattern. That's for sure.
Yes. So I will be there, everybody representing the Metal Summit. And check out Ted Poley at BLE's event with Tokyo Motor Fest.
I'm so looking forward to that. That's going to be insane. Oh, man. You know, Brad is like the king of this. And, you know, he throws down. He says what he does. He does what he says. And you can rest assured that that is going to be an explosive event. I can't wait. You know, so let's get Friday rocking, and then it's on to
We're there, brother.
where's that, Philadelphia, right?
I'll be pushing it out.
Yep.
I'll be pumping it on Harem, the Kiss Room here Friday night. Look, anybody needs a carpool, I'll be there. Let's go hang with Ted. Woo!
Yeah, come on, we'll go swimming after. Come on, we're gonna go.
Yes. Hey, bring our man hammocks.
Swimming. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I love you guys, man.
Thank you so much, Ted. Love you back, man. Enjoy your day.
Mwah. Thank you, guys.
Absolutely, for sure. So we really appreciate you guys, fans. Absolutely. We appreciate Ted for taking a little bit of time to pop on, say hi to the show. Ted's bandmate, also, Steve Brown. Happy birthday to him.
Yes.
Going out
Yes.
today as well. Was part of Tokyo Motor Fest, of course. So thanks so much, Ted, for taking a little bit of time to talk about your upcoming show and how stoked you are to play Masquerade. But speaking of Masquerade, it is about that time to bring in our guest. We really appreciate him taking some time out of his evening to rock out with us. Coming up to you guys from Dallas, we're being joined by Mr. Michael Thomas. Thank you so much, brother.
What's up, guys? Good to be here.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate it, man. So first and foremost, dude, how's everything going? How's 2022 been treating you so far?
2022 has been great. It's been nonstop since the start of the new year, man. It's been one thing after another. I've had some really great shows with Steven that we've done so far this year. I'm working on a bunch of new music for my release through Golden Robot Records. The first single comes out mid-September. So it's just been, man, a whirlwind, but all great and just filled with music. So makes me happy.
That's awesome, man. That's so super duper cool, man. And of course, you've been out just kicking ass with Steven for quite a while now. Like I said, playing the Masquerade. Talk a little bit about just getting in with Steven, because you've been playing with him for a long time. You've got history writing music with him. You and I talked off the air about you penning the song Alive from the Adler's Appetite EP that came out a while back. But just talk a little bit about your history with Steven and how you got involved.
Well, so Steven and I have been working together for, God, it's like it's got to be since 2004. So, man, 18 years, you know?
Yeah. So
we have a pretty long history. I met Steven through Robbie Crane. You guys know, plays for Warrant now. He's playing bass.
Yeah.
At the time I met Robbie, he was doing a number of different projects. And we kind of knew each other from the Hollywood scene. At that time, I think I was playing in Beautiful Creatures. And he approached me about filling in for a tour because Kerry Kelly was the original guitar player in the band. And Kerry ended up going out on a tour with Vince Neil because his other guitar player Vince had was Jason Hook. And I think Jason Hook got the Alice Cooper gig. So it's this weird rotating cast of characters, and we all kind of know one another, and it's this small little circle of guys. But anyways, I jumped at the chance because obviously I was a huge Guns N' Roses fan. I mean, I grew up listening to that record. You know, that was one of, you know, the most influential albums from my childhood. So I ended up doing a tour of Eastern Europe with Steven and the guys. At that time, Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate was singing, and we had Brent Muscat playing rhythm guitar.
Wow.
And he was still in Faster Pussycat at the time. Fast forward about 2 years, I would step in for Faster Pussycat when he wasn't able to go out on tour. I think maybe his wife was having a baby at the time. So I got the call for that gig. So anyways, I'm over in Eastern Europe with Steven Adler. And I think the very first show we did was in Budapest. So it was this really crazy cool like tour itinerary. Budapest, Slovakia, Croatia, Austria. We went all the way over to Greece. From Greece, we played Istanbul, Turkey. From Turkey, we flew back to the Netherlands and we did a bunch of festivals in the Netherlands. So for our first tour experience with Steven, it was absolutely amazing. And, you know, we've been working together ever since.
That's super duper cool, man, for sure. And you talked a little bit about Faster Pussycat, and the one thing I always thought was very, very cool is you recorded the live album with Faster Pussycat during your time with them. And just for fans that aren't really kind of like familiar with it, talk a little bit about like what comes with like putting out like a live album. You know, you've got so much, you know, experience recording, doing stuff for yourselves and doing stuff with other bands when it comes to more studios. Talk a little bit about just the experience of recording a live album.
You know, that experience was really cool. It's like near and dear to my heart. I've done a couple different live records. My very first live record was a couple years before that. I was out with Tough, you know, Stevie Rochelle.
Yeah.
And we did a live record in the UK. And that was like my first European tour. So, you know, I feel like, boy, I was just a baby back then, kind of getting my footing, you know. But it was an amazing tour, and we ended up putting out that live in the UK record. With Pussycat, we recorded that live record in Australia. So it's kind of cool that I have these live records from like different parts of the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I absolutely love that record because I have so many fond memories from that tour. So it was Pussycat and it was Lynch Mob. And George Lynch at the time had Oni Logan singing, the original guy, right? And he had Marco Mendoza playing bass, who is amazing. If you know Marco, you know what a phenomenal player he is.
So good. And
then Scotty Coogan playing drums. So, you know, you couldn't ask for like a more fun group of guys. And, you know, it was like just 2.5 weeks of just different beautiful cities and amazing rock shows. And we started on the West Coast in Perth. And short story before I go back to the recording, I remember we got to Perth, right? And we had a day off. So I turned to Chad Stewart, the Faster Pussycat drummer, and I said, hey, man, we're going to get up at 5 a.m. We're going to go down to the hotel lobby. We're going to get a taxi. We're going to go out to the coast. We're going to go hit the beach. We're going to jump in the ocean, and we're going to watch the sun come up. Because how many times in your life can you say that you went swimming in the Indian Ocean and watched the sun come up, right? Like, sure, Pacific, Atlantic, okay, I can see those. But the Indian Ocean, that just sounded so crazy to me.
Yeah.
We did it, man. We got up, we went down to the beach, and this was either November or December. So what we didn't realize, it's like their summer. So, I mean, it was like super hot. And we went and we spent all day on the beach or all morning on the beach. Got fried, sunburnt, but then like went hopping around to different areas, different like hotels and restaurants, and had this great brunch and drinks, and got to sound check at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And we had this full amazing day in Perth. So when I think about that record, I think about, you know, all those really cool memories that we made on that. That was my first trip to Australia. So, you know, we were conscious of the fact that we were putting out a live record. So, you know, you try not to get too caught up in the moment and, you know, keep things accurate and cool and concise. But, you know, that band is rock and roll. It is mayhem. There is kind of no rules. So we just had a good time with it and just kind of let the dice roll. We came back, went through the tracks, and just had a bunch of like really great stuff. So we put out that record, and I couldn't be happier about it.
That's awesome, man. That's so rad for sure, dude. Psycho Steve, let's kick it over to you, brother.
Well, the first time that you and I met, you played with Adler at a little place called Dingbats in New Jersey.
I played Dingbats many times.
Yeah.
Different bands, but
absolutely. And then I was very fortunate to get to see you with Beautiful Creatures. And finally, Joe Lisday has joined the 21st century and joined Facebook.
Yeah.
recently, which is crazy. I busted his balls about it the other day. I'm like, wow, did your wife make you do this, or did your son, or whatever?
Right. Who hooked him up with it? That's what I want to know.
Exactly. I'm like, he's still using a flip phone the last time I hung out with him. So, all right. But the question I have for you, you said you did travel an exorbitant amount. Is there a bucket list place that you haven't been and you really want to play or just go?
I mean, dude, there still are so many places. And I've been so lucky. I was having this conversation the other night. Throughout all the bands that I've had the good luck and fortune to play with, travel with, hit a lot of Europe, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, one of my favorite spots. I love Japan. Korea. I've gone as far east as New Delhi, India, with Brand New Machine. So, I mean, I've been really lucky as far as seeing a lot of really cool, crazy places. There was some shows on our itinerary that unfortunately something happened with the shows. I can't remember what it was. It's a number of years back, but it was something around the Canary Islands. I've always wanted to check those out. I've always wanted to go to Morocco. Haven't been to Morocco yet. So yeah, dude, there's a number of places. And then just personally, I have a hit list. So, 2 Novembers ago, it was kind of during still lockdown. I just made up my mind that I needed to get out of town. Tired of being, just kind of stuck in one city. I'm so used to traveling. So I ended up, me and my buddy booked a trip down to Mexico City because I always wanted to see the pyramids down there. My major bucket list item is going to Egypt and seeing the pyramids there. But I figured Mexico City, it's a 2-hour flight from Dallas at most. So go check out the Pyramid of the Sun and the Moon and the Avenue of the Dead. And man, it was an amazing trip. You leave there with more questions than answers. And that stuff just really fascinates me. So personally, Egypt's on my bucket list. I would love to play there. And then, like I was saying, Morocco, Canary Islands, that kind of stuff.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Back to you, Jay.
Absolutely, man. No, that's super duper cool. Just the idea of traveling, going to all of these places, and your former bandmate who's out with Whitesnake on this world tour is probably going to get to see an awful lot of different sites and stuff like that too. So if she lands in some of your bucket list places, you're going to have to find out if she had a good time, man.
Yeah, no, I'm hoping they do. I'm hoping they get out and she gets to see all those little portions of the world that she hasn't hit up yet. She's done some pretty extensive traveling herself. Yeah. She did Europe with Dee Schneider. She used to be in and this was I think one of her first touring experiences, and I'm not giving anything away that she hasn't said anyway, was with that river dance, that Irish.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the Michael Flatley thing.
Yeah.
So I know they toured extensively in Europe. So yeah, no, super stoked that she got that gig, and how cool is it that it's kind of changed up the dynamic of the band. I feel like, it is the first time they had a female player in Whitesnake. And since it's the farewell tour, I mean, we'll nod and what a great way to really.
But Michael, let's be honest. What does farewell mean? Does that mean farewell to my bank?
I don't know. You ask Kiss.
I was just with fucking Crew yesterday.
100 more shows.
Yeah, I'll just stay silent on that one. I don't know. I mean, listen, retirement would not be in my vocabulary, and I know for those guys, I don't know how they do it with a straight face. How do they say it with a straight face? How can
I
you
can't
not
do
want to
anything
go out
with a straight face
and fucking rock? How can you not want to do that? It doesn't matter how old you are.
So to clarify something for all of you to understand this, and everybody that's watching this show, I'm going to explain something. Okay, the farewell tour for Kiss was farewell to Peter and Ace.
I saw that. Yeah, that's
okay.
Right.
So it was not a farewell to the band; it was just to the two of them.
It was like, get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
Well, I'll tell you this: we did that Kiss cruise with them. 2019, I believe it was. It was honestly probably right before lockdown. It was that November, right before then. And we had such a blast, dude. That was an amazing, amazing time. It was us, Kiss, The Darkness, Warrant, and a couple other bands. And what was really cool about that run was, number one, hanging out with The Darkness. Because I don't know if you're familiar with their catalog, but man, I gotta tell you, I didn't really know their songs before that cruise. I knew a couple, and I liked those songs that I had heard. And I'd seen them once in LA, and I was really blown away by the live show. And man, I'll tell you what, Justin he's an amazing frontman, and he commands that stage. His presence, his control of the show, everything that's orchestrated. Man, I just have so much respect for those guys. And they were super cool to hang out with. I mean, it makes it even that much better when you meet the guys and they're super cool. So, we really were fortunate to get the opportunity to not only, see the show on the cruise, but to hang out with them. We're all on a boat together for 7 days. So that was amazing. And then, with Warrant, I've known some of those guys for, I don't know, the past 10 years or something. And it turns out that Eric and his family moved to Dallas like maybe 6 months before the cruise.
Right.
So in talking with Eric and his wife, I found out that they had moved to Dallas, and now we're neighbors. So, we just had lunch actually like a week and a half ago, which is super cool. He's one of the nicest guys in rock and roll. And every now and then we get together and, we'll jam and record some stuff. And it's just really cool. It's like, they were out on the West Coast for a number of years like I was. But now I'm starting to see different people kind of filter to Dallas. Eric's here. Johnny Kelly from Typo Negative and Quiet Riot, he's here too. We were just hanging out at a show not too long ago. So, it's cool, man. It's cool to see those people all of a sudden pop up here.
Absolutely, for sure. Bobby, keep rolling with it, my guy.
So big thing, look, you're a guitar player, I'm a guitar player, but I want you to talk about the company you're used and everything, Mud Guitars.
Yeah, Mud Guitars. I worked with them. That was a number of years ago now. I want to say 2007 or 8. They built me a couple custom model guitars. It's a smaller kind of boutique shop. They were based out of Phoenix. I actually met them at Rocklahoma.
Really?
Yeah. I remember the whole Rocklahoma event they used to do every year. Well, I think they still do it, but initially it was geared toward, I think, more like the bands that are doing the Masquerade Festival and say like M3, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, I was playing with Beautiful Creatures, Faster Pussycat, Bang Tango.
Yep.
And Steven Adler, I think. I think I did like 3 sets, just 3 or 4 sets that one festival. So anyways, I kind of caught the attention of the guys from the company. And about a month later, they decided to drive out to LA from Phoenix for a show I was doing in LA. And they pitched me the idea of doing a custom model. And I liked the idea, and they brought me out some prototypes, and we just kind of went through some designs, and they asked me, what I was looking for in a guitar. And, to be honest with you, I always gravitate back towards my Les Pauls. And I'm a Les Paul player.
Hey, so am I.
And it's weird because I do a bunch of different musical styles. I'll do everything from like real bluesy stuff to like real kind of fast, shreddy stuff. But man, I'm telling you, I just feel like the Les Paul is like the ultimate workhorse, and I love it. I can get so many versatile tones out of it, even though I know you feel like it's kind of geared towards that, say, kind of slashy sound. Still, I think you can, there's versatility to it. A Strat sounds like a Strat. You're not going to get a Strat sound.
A Telly sounds like a Telly.
Exactly. And I think the stuff that I do kind of gravitates towards that Les Paul sound. But anyways, I was working with that company for a few years, and they made me a couple prototypes. And then, they were a smaller shop, so they didn't really kind of last the test of time. They closed doors, unfortunately. And it was a great run while we had it. And, they put out a few things that I really adore. As a matter of fact, in my house, I have the very first prototype that they made me in a case with some of my albums around it that I've done. and it's really cool because it's like this white body with an ebony neck.
Wow.
And there's one pickup. I don't know if you've seen the model, but it's kind of tilted like an old kind of gunslinger.
Yeah.
And it's funny. I was talking to, maybe it was, I don't know if it was Eric. I think Eric had a couple models of guitar. I don't know if it was BC Rich as well, where they had that pickup cock to the side.
Oh.
But it's so beautiful, and the inlays are so cool. It reminds me of like something Prince would play back in the day. So I had to put it in a case and retire it and hang it on the wall, just as a keepsake,
Well, you were in good company with them because it was you and Chip and the guitar player from Jackal, and there were a lot of people who were tied in with the company, and it's a shame.
Yeah.
Are they still together? Is they still existing?
No, they're not. They're not making guitars anymore. However, I do hear from one of the owners, every now and then, and we just kind of keep in touch. So unfortunately, no, they're not doing guitars anymore. And before that, I was with. Well, technically, I still am with Yamaha from like an acoustic perspective, but I was with Yamaha guitars for a number of years using their AES 820 model.
So you're a big Paul guy. So what is your go-to Les Paul?
My go-to.
What would be your go-to Les Paul?
Well, for the past few years, it's been my Gold Top.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you'll see my Gold Top in.
So this was Neil's.
Oh yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, this was Mr. Sean's.
Now that tremolo, what is that? A Kaler?
No.
What is that?
This is a Floyd.
Oh, it's a Floyd.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this: do you technically consider that cheating? A whammy, a bar on a Les Paul?
No.
No, okay.
No, to me, it's cheating.
I'm a purist.
Yeah,
I'm a purist. Ass.
Anything out of a zip code is not cheating. Oh wait, sorry. Bad Bob. Stop.
I've heard that.
Well, Michael, on to piggyback off of what Bobby was saying and to keep it kind of on guitars, because you and I had talked at M3. I think we were at like the after party at the hotel or something like that, and we were talking guitars. And anybody who's followed this show or knows me outside the show, like, knows my lunaticnism for Ouija boards and stuff like that.
Love it,
and we were having a conversation about your Ouija board guitar, and I just think it's a really, really rad story. And for anybody who hasn't heard it, I just think it would be kind of a cool story to tell if you wouldn't mind kind of rehashing the conversation.
Yeah, you know what? Let me grab it so I can rehash the story in full detail. Hold on.
Absolutely. Angel, if you would be so kind.
Yes,
brother.
definitely. Just be patient with me. This fucking
All right.
StreamYard Microsoft Edge is. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
You can see the body here. And what's great about this Les Paul is that the artwork that was done for the body is actually burned into the wood. This isn't ink.
That's what I was just about to ask you, because it looks like they're burnt in or a magic mark.
It's burnt in. And
That's
they
fun.
modeled the design after my tattoo. So you see this one here, the skull with the heart and the bat, is exactly what I have here, tattooed.
Awesome.
Wow.
And then on the back, we did a custom Ouija board.
Yeah,
Oh
man.
my God. Wow.
I love it.
So
That's so freaking cool.
Who
look
did
at
it?
the detail in that. I mean, tell me that's not amazing.
So
Well,
amazing, dude.
Who did the work, Michael?
An artist named Glenn Temple, and shout out to him. This guitar gets so many kudos, and he did such an amazing job with it. Like, I'm so grateful. I've taken this out on the road with me quite a bit. It's been a number of years since I brought it back out, but I absolutely love it, and it has a certain sound to it. It's a little different than my other Les Pauls. It definitely
What
has.
pickups are you running in there?
These are burst buckers that are in this one.
Really?
Yeah, zebra stripe. So, I left for tour in June with Steven Adler, and we had this crazy, crazy long tour. It was like a 3-month US tour. And I sent it out right before I left for tour. When I got home about 2 weeks later, it showed back up. Literally, all this artwork that was burned into the wood, this took over 3 months to create and do. And he just did a super amazing job.
So I work with the boys at Gibson Garage in
Yeah.
Nashville.
In Nashville.
And you know, like I said, I showed these guys. So they did they did this for me, which is basically a Randy with a Floyd.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah. But the tribute was to my mom. Butterflies all in the neck. It's all aged. It's all Murphy'd out.
That's beautiful. Yeah. I love those inlays.
Killer job, you know, fucking. But your guitar, would you ever consider? Look, Tool did, you know, Andy did his. Would you allow Gibson to take your guitar and go, hey, love to do a limited run?
Yeah, I mean that would be amazing to do. You know, I mean anything Gibson, I'm a huge fan of. So I would jump at the chance to work with them on any kind of custom project in a heartbeat. You know?
I'll flip you, John Wolford and those guys, because something like that I think would be very cool. They just hit me up about Pantera's bass player. His bass just came out today.
Yeah, what's his new bass?
Yeah, Browns. And they're like, hey, do you want one? I'm going, I don't need another fucking bass right now. But I could use another Les Paul. No.
Yeah, I saw that bass the other day. I mean, it looks beautiful. I don't know the custom specs on it, but I mean, for a Thunderbird, I mean, it looks amazing.
Yeah.
But your guitar, I think that would be that thing if they did a limited or an edition. You know, it's just like, wow.
I'd be 100% on board with that for sure. So.
Trust me, besides the first of the prototypes going back to Michael, I'm going to make sure that the second one shows up at my door.
Got a thumb wrestle for it.
Yeah, seriously, for sure.
Or sword fight, Steve.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll stick with the thumb wrestle.
Yeah, I'm with Michael on that one. You know what? I think I'm
Darn it.
You're on an island, Bobby. But let's kick it up to Angel. How are you doing, brother? How are the Metal Summoners doing?
Super awesome. Just having trouble with this Microsoft Edge, whatever the hell it is. But I'm gonna get Google Chrome. So if it keeps booting me out, my apologies. But I got a couple cool questions from Jenny, who's also gonna be at BLE. So she wants to know, how many guitars do you have in your arsenal?
That is a good question. Matter of fact, I don't know how many I have anymore because I have stuff here in Dallas. I have stuff staged in LA. I got stuff everywhere. I actually just flew a couple guitars home from Los Angeles on my last trip about a month ago because I had a black, what is it? I think it's a standard Les Paul that was at my tour manager's house for a number of years. And I'm like, you know what? I really miss that Les Paul. It's been sitting in his closet. I think I need to get that back to Dallas. So
Never keep anything in the closet.
I know. Well, I'll tell you what. So I'm going to try to answer the question. I can tell you in my house, just hanging up as like artwork, guitars that I've retired from touring. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 6, and they just hang on the wall as art now. I have 4 here in my studio that I use just kind of immediately for like recording.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I've got 5. There's a Strat hiding behind my door over here. I want to say between the stuff I have in Dallas and the stuff I have in Los Angeles, I probably have like 30 guitars. Yeah. And you know what's amazing is I've worked with some really great companies over the years, like Yamaha, Mud Guitars, Schecter. And there was a point, honestly, where like Schecter was so good to me, and they gave me so many guitars to try out, record with, or take on the road. I ended up walking a couple of them back to the shop because and they looked at me like I was crazy, and they said, "Well, is there something wrong with these?" And I said, "Absolutely not. They're great. It's just I'll never use them, and I'd rather have another artist be able to take these out and put them to work than them sit in my closet, you know?" So I've been really lucky with that kind of stuff. So yeah, I want to say probably 30 plus.
Getting back to your artwork, look, I was fortunate about a year ago to get this, and I bought it.
Oh, cool.
So this was Chris Stapleton, and
Oh.
he did the artwork.
Oh, wow.
And so it was.
Hold the face up to it again. Oh man, how cool! Yeah, nice. That's beautiful.
And I know what you mean when like your guitar. I looked at it, and I'm going. When I picked this up, I was just like, wow. And knowing that the artwork is one of a kind, it was just. But you got to admit, there's just something about a Les Paul in your hand.
Oh yeah, 100%. I got a Les Paul that I picked up back in like '94 or '95. It was, I think, a Les Paul like Premium Plus. It's got this beautiful top on it, cherry sunburst with this beautiful like maple flame going through the top. And I used it for a number of years with Engines of Aggression. And now it's like strictly a studio guitar. It sounds so good, and I love it so much, and the feel is just so worked in and so comfortable that I refuse to bring it back out on the road. It stays strictly a studio guitar. But it's tough because you got these great things you want to play, but it's just.
Do you feel like your guitars make you play a different way? Every one you pick up changes your attitude.
Did I cut out there for a minute? Because
just for a second.
Oh, does the guitar change my playing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it influences it for sure. When I pick up a Strat, there's certain feely kind of things that I do differently on a Strat than I do on a Les Paul.
Yeah, look, I look at it as, and it kind of sounds crude, but it's like surfing, skateboarding, anything, wide, soft. Look, it's like being with women. You're with a skinny woman, you're going to go a certain way. You're with somebody with a little bit of, yeah.
That's the way of looking at it.
With a paddle, hey. Oh, sorry, Angel.
That's okay, Bob.
That is absolutely okay. But yeah, Angel, let's bring it back to you though, bud.
Oh, there was one other question. It has to do with instruments.
Wait.
What other instruments can you play?
What other instruments do I play? I play a little bit of everything. I'm kind of a jack of all trades, and I kind of had to be, because when I started doing my own music, I realized if I didn't do it myself, it wasn't going to get done.
Yeah.
So I play the drums, bass, guitar, sing. I do everything, man. And the single that I put out in January, I don't know if you guys have seen the video or heard the song, but I put out a single at the end of January. It's a cover of Information Society's "What's on Your Mind," and
I want to know what you're thinking.
Yeah, if you haven't checked out the tune yet, man.
Wait, now I am, because that's fucking stuck in my head.
Oh, dude, if you haven't heard it, I think you're going to dig it. It's a very rocked out version of that song. As a matter of fact, when I released it, the band, actually, Information Society, shared it on their social media, which I thought was super cool. It's kind of rare that you get the actual artist sharing it, But it was the first time that I put out anything that was, all me and vocals in a while, since the Fastback record that I did, and that was a number of years ago. So that song actually kind of led to the deal with Golden Robot Records. So the new material that I've been working on, again, I've done every instrument, all the vocals, and all the writing, obviously. And I'm so super stoked. This afternoon I got the first 2 tracks back from Sterling mastering facility in New York, and it sounds so good, man. I'm so over the moon happy. So I think you got to be kind of a jack of all trades and play a little bit of everything if you're gonna get your stuff done in a timely manner, And I think it's more you too.
I'm going to put the link up. I just see it on here, the whole Pure Energy thing.
Yeah,
the video's cool. It's like if anybody hasn't seen it, it's really cool. So the video is like really cosmic. It's like super duper rad.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Another one of my art projects.
Wow, dude,
cool.
I'm digging it.
Yeah, give it a listen, and then I'd love to hear what you think.
No, I'm a big look. Simple Minds, everything that period right there was, look, I love that techno metal rock. That was right when 9 Inch Nails started coming out too.
Yeah, and for me, I was a fan of that song since I was a kid, and I've always wanted to cover it. I just never had the opportunity, and I knew I was going to be putting out a lot of new music this year. So I figured the best way to kind of start that process was put out a song that everybody was familiar with, but give it a new twist. So that was the first thing that I released this year. And like I said, I've got 2 more singles that'll come out by the end of the year, and then a full EP in 2023 at the start of the year. So there's going to be a lot of new music pretty soon.
Nice. Very, very cool for sure. Angel, let's bring it back down to you, brother. Anything else from the fans or a question from yourself, my guy?
Brian was hoping we could start the show all over again, but that's not going to happen.
We're live, Brian. You of all people should know that.
He wants to know what vintage amp or pedal that you haven't got to play that's on your bucket list or no longer exists.
Wow. I don't know. Vintage amp, and there's so many good ones. I love the old Plexis, and I haven't really gotten to play a lot of those. It was actually George Lynch that kind of introduced me to the Plexi sound. It was one year at like the Damn Show, we were doing some jam or something, and he let me use this Plexi. And you know how they jump over from there's like the 1, 2, 3, 4 input, and they cross over the input jacks and stuff. And like I'm not familiar with the whole thing, or I wasn't at that time. But he plugged me into his head, and oh my goodness, it sounded monstrous. So there's some old Plexis that I would love to have or try out or play that I haven't yet.
Nice.
And
Angel, you still with us, bud?
Yep.
Cool.
Hold on 1 second. And question from Susan: do you plan on coming up to Toronto anytime soon?
God, I hope so. Last time I was in Toronto was with Faster Pussycat, and that was probably like 10 years ago. We were in Vancouver, other side of Canada, with Steven probably about like 8 years ago, I want to say. So it's been a while since I've been to Canada, but I would love to get to Toronto and play again. The shows and all the folks out there is outrageous. We had a great time last time we were there.
Nice.
And the question is, what's the longest tour that you've done?
The longest tour.
The longest time that you've been out on the road.
So as far as like one tour, probably the longest was like 10 weeks. And that was just a monster summer tour that Steven and I had one year. That was really, really super long. That's a long time to be on a bus. But it's funny because I played in so many different bands. I feel like there were times where I would be on the road with Faster Pussycat, and I would come home after a U.S. tour and have like a day off and turn around and go right back out with Steven, like over to Europe or a U.S. tour. And everything was so back to back. There were some years I was doing like 250 shows or something. I mean, just crazy amount of shows between all the bands I played in. So the longest consecutive would have been 10 weeks, but usually, my years have been pretty full with back-to-back touring. And there are some tours where there are a couple summers where, say, if the package was Faster Pussycat, LA Guns, and Bang Tango, or somebody else, there were times I was doing double duty. I'd be opening the show with Bang Tango, and then I had an hour off in between with LA Guns, and then I'd headline with Faster Pussycat. So I was pulling double duty on some of those tours. So can you count that as like a double tour? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, because when I saw you when you were with Adler, it was also like Adler's Appetite. It was called. It was with Chip. You and Joe was singing, and then there was Bang Tango.
Yeah.
And then you jump on and do that. That's when I saw you at Dingbats.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Dingbats.
So way yonder, long time ago.
Yeah, stay with it, Steve.
All right. So was guitar your first instrument?
Yeah, it is my first instrument. I picked up a guitar at first at like age 10.
Okay.
And it was one of those situations where I had like a guitar teacher, and it was like the Mel Bays book, and you're with the metronome and you're trying to do scales, and it was just so tedious. So after like 2 lessons, the guitar went in the back of the closet. And then a couple years later, a buddy of mine started playing guitar and was taking lessons from this guy. And he's like, yeah, he's a great teacher. You should check him out. So I decided to pick it back up again. And honestly, man, teachers make all the difference. I had a lesson with this guy, and he didn't come in and try to like put a book in front of me and try to get me to like, read the notes and play to the metronome. It was, hey, what are you interested in? What would you like to learn how to play? And he made it approachable. And he also, used tab, which was a lot easier to understand, right? So I think, oddly enough, by the end of the very first lesson, he had shown me the intro to like, I think, Y&T Black Tiger.
Ah, nice.
And I kind of got it. I was like, okay, wait a minute. I understand what's going on, and I can understand what he wrote down here. And then I was hooked. Then it was just like, oh, this light bulb went off, and everything was guitar after that.
Sweet. Do you still own the first guitar you had?
Do I still have the first guitar?
Yeah.
No, I don't think I do. No, unfortunately, I don't.
What kind? Do you know kind of guitar?
Yeah, it was the very, very first. Okay, so the first guitar was a quarter size because I was like 10 years old, right? So
Right.
those quarter size guitars. It was I don't know what the model was, but it looked like a BC Rich Warlock.
Wow. That's
I mean,
a heavy
talk about
guitar.
metal, right? And it was candy up red with like kind of like a sparkle to the finish, a light sparkle. So yeah, it was this Warlock looking guitar. And then after that, it was a Yamaha, but it was like a SG body. And I had that for a couple of years. And then the next thing was a Strat. And then from the Strat, it was, I got to have an Ibanez. I got to have the Floyd Rose Tremolo. So I jumped into that, and I got the Floyd Rose, and I was doing all the whammy bar stuff. And that was cool too,
Different. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Right on. Yeah. Jack.
Yeah, no, super duper cool. So let's have a little bit of fun, Michael. And let's talk about your T-shirt there. Let's talk about the Vampire Karate Club.
Yes, sir.
How did it get started? And tell us a little bit about what we may not know.
Well, so the Vampire Karate Club just kind of came up, something I just kind of conjured out of the thin air when I got here to Dallas. I was originally thinking about starting like a jam night here with some of the musicians because, in LA, there's, I don't know. What does Chuck Wright call that?
Well, it's the whiskey night.
Yeah, you know which one I'm talking about.
Jam
The
night?
All-Star Jam.
Yeah, the Ultimate Jam.
Yeah, they used to do it at Lucky Strike too for a while. So anyways, I landed here in Dallas after being in LA for a number of years, and I knew a bunch of musicians in town, and I thought, well, that might be kind of cool. I got so caught up in touring and recording and doing other things that I just never had time to kind of put that whole thing together. It takes a lot of work, and I'll give Chuck a lot of credit for keeping that thing alive as long as he has, because every week he's herding cats. He's calling this guy and come down, and what song are you gonna do? Okay, well, this guy's gonna do this song. There's so much organization that goes to that. Honestly, like, kudos to Chuck for being able to coordinate that every week. That's a lot of work. So anyways, and I love the name. So I've had different like kind of t-shirt line stuff and clothing line stuff that I've done in the past. So I just decided I wanted to, use the name and see if it stuck. So I ended up doing a bunch of t-shirts, printing up some stuff, started wearing it out, sending it to my musician friends, and everybody loved it, right? So it starts kind of gaining notoriety kind of quietly and kind of building up. James Durbin ended up using.
I love James
in one of his videos, and so it kind of filtered its way around to all my musician friends. And it was funny because like the very first year we played M3, I wore that T-shirt on stage, and I had so many people come up to me and say, "Hey, where can we get one of those shirts?" So then I rolled that over into my guitar picks. So everything now is branded with the Vampire Karate Club. And I'm actually working on a few other things that in 2023 you'll see come out. So I'm going to keep that under wraps for now. But I've got a lot of different things on the stove. So that's one of them.
That's awesome, man. That just makes for another episode with you.
Yes, sir.
But but yeah, for sure, man. And like, so the idea of like the whole kind of like vampire thing also is kind of like, ironically, vampire is actually written across my shirt, but as doing the whole like, hey, Brad, but doing with the whole like, kind of like, vampire thing, being into that whole kind of like goth aesthetic, like I am. I've seen, that you've done also a series of what you would kind of call a lot of like kind of vampire or kind of gothy style like photo shoots and stuff like that. Do those things kind of tie in together, or are you like a horror movie guy, like, or are they just different opportunities that have come your way?
It's funny that you say that because, honestly, my natural look just kind of lends itself to that. I've got dark hair. It's long. I have a little bit of that vibe naturally. But about those photo shoots you're talking about, did you see the Halloween shoot that I did? I have some photos on my Instagram. It's me and my girlfriend, and we did this. I just had this idea. I'm like, she's an amazing photographer, number one. I don't know if you're familiar with her photography. It's Hey Emma J on Instagram. She has a website as well. She shoots Screamer magazine. She's been a tour photographer and journalist for a number of years. She's amazing. And ever since we got together, she's kind of like a creative muse. It's like we kind of feed off one another, and we come up with all these like just cool ideas for shoots. And I remember I for Halloween last year, we had a couple different ideas we wanted to do. And you'll see on my Instagram, I think there's like one or two that we did. But one of them was, I want to do a vampire shoot, but like a Calvin Klein ad, right? So it's like this black and white thing, and it's in underwear, because like how bizarre is that, right? And we ended up doing that shoot, and it was so much fun, and we got so many cool photos out of that, and got all this attention for it. That we end up doing a lot of that stuff. So yeah, I just think it kind of ties in with me naturally, and I wish I could say like, oh, I'm a huge horror fan. I mean, I do watch horror movies. A lot of my stuff is probably a little more darker than others, but it's not something that like, I don't know, like I collect. I'm not so much a collector. I just enjoy it.
Sure. Yeah, no, I do remember that photo. I do remember seeing that, because I also remember a photo on your IG that I really liked where you're like murdered over a table.
That's the other one we did. Yeah.
Oh, is that from the same? Is that from the same shoot?
Yeah, it was the same week period. It was that same Halloween. We had a couple different themes, and I had a couple weeks off in October. We weren't out on tour. So I was like, oh, cool. We ended up going to all these Halloween stores and buying all this stuff. And we just came up with more and more ideas. And it just kind of morphed into all these different things. And that photo you were talking about got picked up and published. And then we ended up doing that Calvin Klein themed vampire shoot one. And I can only imagine this Halloween what's coming up, you know?
Right.
So I guarantee you, though, it'll be cool.
Absolutely, for sure. So fans, stay with us real quick. We're going to give Michael a little moment to catch his breath, because we've actually been joined by Mr. Brad Lee, who assisted us in the booking of Michael for this episode. But Brad, thanks for taking a little bit of time to pop on and say what's up.
What's going on, everybody? How y'all doing? What's
Brad!
Dang.
Michael, what's going on, brother? Good to finally see you and be able to speak to you and be able to see who I'm speaking to for once. So that's kind of cool. You never know who's on the other end of the line. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, you hear the voice.
It's kind of like that Aerosmith video of, like, you know, Sweet Emotion.
Is that what it is? Sweet Emotion?
It's always
maybe. I mean, I'm, you know, probably, you know, one of the younger cats.
But I did want to tell Ted tonight, tell me Tokyo Motor Fist doesn't sound like a gay porn movie.
I can't comment on that. I have to let you know after we work with them in Masquerade. Yeah. After we work
Do they have small hands? No,
you know who could probably answer that for you, man? Steve Brown probably has a perfect answer for you, man. So yeah,
Nice.
Talk to Steve Brown. He probably has an answer. Yeah. Well, I wouldn't know. That's not really my realm, you know. But
Absolutely. But Brad, since we're about 2 weeks out, why don't you tell us a little bit about, like, Masquerade? With that coming up in a couple of weeks, and anything that you wish to announce or just put more in, like, the forefront. Why don't we give you a couple of minutes to speak on that?
Well, I mean, I'll do my best to catch people up, and if anybody chimes in with a question, like, I'll stick around for some questions and things like that, and then I'm gonna drive home to my wife, because I know she's probably like, "What the hell? Like, you're on there right now talking, and you could be home with me. Like, you should have took the drive and, like, done it from home." But no, I had to. I'm actually at work right now, so I hopped on here a little bit to. I'm closing down at work tonight, so I'm hopping on here to catch everybody and let everybody know kind of what's going on. Right now, we're in a point where we're, as you said, 2 weeks out. So we're getting to the point where we're advancing everything and closing down everything for 2 weeks to just promote for the next 2 weeks. We have a lot of good interviews coming up and things of that nature with scheduled with artists and different media outlets throughout the Mid-Atlantic region. So that's something that we're working on right now in the background and getting everybody scheduled for interviews and things like that. Obviously, as we're on the Metal Summit, that's something that's near and dear to us as well. So we want to make sure that we do everything we can to cross promote. Metal Summit is going to be a part of Masquerade for those that don't know. So everyone that you see here in this 6th frame right here, including Mr. Michael Thomas, will all be at Masquerade. So on the 28th of July, the 29th of Friday, and the 30th is a Saturday. For those that don't take this the wrong way, but for those of you that have been under a rock for the past 2 years during COVID, this is the Ballroom Blitz reschedule from 2020. It was rescheduled. This is the 3rd reschedule for Masquerade, so the 4th reschedule total, all being told and all be counted by. That's a lot over 2 years, and we appreciate everyone's patience during this time. I know it hasn't been easy on anyone. Where we're talking about staff, we're talking about venue, we're talking about artists, we're talking about supporters that have been holding on to tickets for 2 years. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone for their patience during this time, because everyone has worked together. It's truly been a team effort, and by the grace of God and any other way, this wouldn't be possible, because there's been so many cards and all. Just about, Michael, I think you know a little bit, but majority of everyone in this screen here knows a little bit about what went on with the behind the scenes of the reschedule and things of that nature. So I'm not going to get into it, but you all played a part in it, and I appreciate all your efforts as well, sticking on board and continuing to be a part of this project, if you will, of an event. So right now things are going well. We're at a point where I'm actually very comfortable with it. I think that it's gonna, at the end of the day, it's gonna do what it's gonna do anyway. So it's to the point where we're just looking to put on the best event forward. We have 30 bands over 3 days on an indoor intimate type mini fest. So it's limited to 2,000
Woohoo!
people. This
Oh
is-
wait, oh,
It was
wrong
up
mini.
close and personal. This is keep your hands on your wallets type atmosphere. You know what I mean? Like nobody's gonna take your wallet. Don't get me wrong, but there might be some cheek grabbing or something. Who knows? Might be some debauchery going on. We never know. But yeah, it's 2,000 people, so it's gonna be up close and intimate, like family reunion type style. Not that there's anything wrong with some of the bigger fests and the amphitheaters and things like that. That's cool too. Like it's all family reunion, but to be enclosed with 2,000 of your closest, you know that everyone in there, whether you know them or not, you have at least one thing in common with everybody in that room. Y'all listen to the same kind of music. Y'all want the same kind of positive vibe, or you wouldn't be there. So we try and create that atmosphere and bring it in. So to anyone that hasn't been to a BLE event, that's kind of like, I'm intrigued by this masquerade. I don't know what to expect. This might be my first time at a BLE event. Just want to kind of let you guys know ahead of time what you're in for. It is a very humbling experience because everybody gets along. Up until this date, we haven't had any kind of fights or anything like that at our events. So everybody is just coming for a rock and roll church environment. 3-day love fest coming out of COVID. We actually get to see everyone's faces. We don't have any masks other than an occasional Halloween mask probably floating around in the crowd. Sure, Bobby has something up his sleeve. Yeah, so
Ball gag,
Well, we're gonna theme the nights out, Bobby. I don't think that's one of the themes. But if you can find a way to incorporate it
well, hey, look, I could come as gay with John Wayne Gacy.
bro, I mean, hey, it's your gag in your mouth, bro. That's your business, bro. You know what I mean? So
I never gag. I have no gag reflex.
we're gonna have a good time. It's gonna be Friday. It's gonna be. I'll announce right now the themes. What I'm planning on the themes being. On Friday, it's gonna be a skull theme. So by skull theme, that means you can paint your face like a skull. You can come with a skull suit on. You can come dressed as a skull. You can come however you want. As long as it's skull themed, you will be counted
Hey,
as being.
Brad, is that like a pinch between your cheek and gums? Oh, or is that a different skull?
I think that's a different skull.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it doesn't sound familiar, so I think that's a different skull. But what I'm planning on doing, and I hope some people will join me. You're welcome to. I won't feel like you're copying me. If you want to truly show the support and truly want to get a cool picture on Friday, I plan on going as the logo. So I'm going as the BLE logo with the skull face.
Which is right here. There we go.
That's what I'm going as. So I hope to see some skulls in the crowd. I just think my whole vision for that was it's kind of, even though the lighting is good in there as far as the presentation and the production, the lighting is also it's a darker lighting scheme. It's not going to be obviously it's a rock show. There's going to be some darkness in there. So I think from the stage, from a musician standpoint, I think it'll look really cool, with a bunch of 2,000 skulls out in the crowd, rocking out with you. So I wanted to kind of go with that vibe on Friday. So anything you can do to incorporate the skulls on Friday, that's what we're going to do on Friday. And then on Saturday, it's going to be just 80s themed. So, and by 80s, that covers a very wide spectrum. I know it sounds generic, but at the same time, that can be cartoon characters. Yes, that can be 80s porn star. Yes, that can be 80s musician. Yes, that can be 80s celebrity. Whatever it is to be 80s, whether it's an 80s athlete or 80s wrestler, even, which is being the old ECW arena, if you want to get creative and incorporate some wrestling, wrestling, dressing.
A little bit of the Hulk.
Totally cool too. So
come on, brother.
So,
Steve.
Yeah, come as no holds barred. Zeus and Hogan come in there. So, but yeah,
I'm gonna go as the Weasel.
Steve is gonna dress up as Debbie Gibson.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, however you guys want to do to get creative, I'm all for it. I didn't want to just, release doors and let it be just a generic event to where we don't have anything going on. I wanted it to be some kind of thing. And that's what I chose to do with it. I just feel it appeals to a wider audience and it kind of opens up more of a gamut. For those interested, if you don't have anything or you don't want to travel with any costumes or anything for the theme nights, we got you covered as well, because 2 or 3 blocks from the place within walking distance, there's a shopping center that has a place actually called Masquerade in the shopping center.
I've been to that store plenty of times.
Really good quality costumes and things of that nature. So if you really want to go, balls to the wall and actually, go shopping when the plane lands like a baller, as the kids say.
Yep. And they have the hair for Steve.
Masquerade. Yeah.
I can get the hair for Steve so he can have hair like he did in the 80s. They do have hairs. They do have 80s stuff. Yeah, no, but they do have 80s costume, because I've been to that store plenty of times. I used to buy the freaky stuff there when I used to live in the area. That was the Freaky Store back in the day. I think it still is, but not sure.
Nice.
It's intriguing. Any store called Masquerade with like, you know, the whole New Orleans motif. Forgive me that style escapes me. I've never been to Orleans actually, but you know, that whole style is pretty intriguing, and you can do a lot with it. So I think at a rock show it'd be kind of cool. So
Absolutely. 100% for sure. So fans, we got it coming up really, really soon. We got everybody playing 30 bands, 3 days, Masquerade in Philly at the 2300 Arena.
Let me run down the bands real quick.
What's up?
Let me see if I can do it off the top of my head. I want to see if I can do all of them off the top of my head real quick.
All right.
You ready?
Yeah.
And this is how it's going to be. And like, for those paying attention, you get the full lineup right here. First time ever announced this lineup because there have been a couple little changes. Don't PM me, ask me about changes. I'm telling you right now. You don't listen right now and you don't pay attention right now, I'm not repeating it. This is the lineup. All right, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. All right. So in no particular order, let's see if I can get them all. Sonora, Whiskey Grin, Love and Chains, Ryder, Nitro Nitra, All or Nothing. Did I say Whiskey Grin already?
You got them now.
All right. Let's see. Green Knuckle Material. I have nothing in front of me. This isn't a magistrate. This isn't David Copperfield.
Steven Adler.
Kick it down.
All right. No, not yet. We're going order by day. No, screw me up, man. My mom's messed up enough for the day. Friday, Silver Tongue, The Lonely Ones, September Morning, Kickin' Valentina, Tokyo Motorfist, Spread Eagle, Pretty Boy Floyd, Dirty Looks, Beasto Blanco, Adler, Saturday. Wild America, Babylon Shakes, Resistant Bite, Native Sons, Steel City, Every Mother's Nightmare, Roxy Blue, Tor, Killer Drawers, Autograph, Paradise Kitty.
Nice. That's really good, brother. There was one band that got away from you on the entire weekend, which is pretty good, and that's Shotgun Superstars.
Well, so here's the thing about Shotgun Superstars, right? Shotgun Superstars is actually performing as the Masquerade house band for the weekend. So they're going to have a spot on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. They're alternating. A couple of their slots are on the second stage. A couple are on the main stage. But we're going to sprinkle them throughout the weekend. They have such a huge set list that they're able to do numerous different sets and incorporate different music into that. So our whole get is for them to do a bunch of deep cuts. They're going to do some XYZ stuff. They're going to throw in some hardcore superstar stuff. They're going to throw in some Kick stuff, some Cinderella stuff. So, you know, we have a house band, and we also, let's not forget, Alice Kane from L'Amour's is going to be the DJ for the weekend. We also have Keith Roth and Tommy London coming from SiriusXM to be the ringleaders for the weekend. And then we have MCs, Salem J and Psycho Steve as the MCs for the weekend.
Yeah.
Bobby is going to be a resident photographer for us. Angel, you already know what you're doing, keeping the crowd questions coming in. Make sure everybody's having a good time. So the Metal Summit is going to be in full effect. And then you have it's on your screen above me, the handsome gentleman above me, Mr. Michael Thomas, blazing us on Friday night for Steven Adler coming to Philadelphia at the 2300 Arena. Tickets can be purchased at 2300arena.com, and tickets are available while they last. All ticket levels are currently available. Very few VIPs left, but we do have some available. So check with 2300arena.com for what's left and go from there. If you have any questions, feel free to PM the page or the website at blerocks.com. That's all.
Jeannie did get us. She was on top of that with adding in John's Crossing.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened to John's
Crossing? All right, so here's the thing about John's Crossing, all right? So there's reasons why, and I'm not going to take up all your time, there's reasons why I leave certain people off, okay? So John's Crossing is actually a Christian rock band from the area, Okay, John's Crossing is on all 3 days because John's Crossing has been good enough to help us out with our backlining needs. So John's Crossing is actually sponsoring the backline. So we have all different genres of subgenres, I should say, of the rock genre represented here. So we have jazz, pop rock, we have Christian rock, we have straight up metal, we have everybody's represented. So this is not going to be your typical run-of-the-mill nostalgic tour. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this isn't going to be that. This is going to be 3 days of mixed up rock and roll community and all the industry professionals from the Mid-Atlantic region that all work together to make this work for the last 2.5 years, and a bunch of artists that we've been wanting to work with that we are so lucky to be able to work with as well. So this is going to be a love fest and positivity, and the people that are there. I'm not saying it's going to sell out. I'm not saying it's not going to sell out. People that are there are going to have a good time. I mean, Rocklando was undersold and overplayed as well, and it was a great fucking show. So anybody that was there knows. So Masquerade is going to be no different. I don't care if it's one person in there or 2,000 in there. We're going to entertain them the same way we're going to do for anyone. So
absolutely, 100% for sure. So fans, Masquerade coming up with Michael Thomas, and Brad's kicking it with us for a little bit. If you guys have any questions for him, feel free to pop up. Angel will be on top of that. We are going to take this opportunity to bring Michael back in, back onto the floor in the forefront. And at the same time, let's kick it over to Psycho Steve to continue it on.
Hey guys, real quick, I just found the comment section here. I saw a message from DK from Kicking Valentina. Is DK still around? Are you still watching the show?
I think so. Yeah,
DK is awesome. He's been very supportive. So DK, if you're still there, man, we need the real DK to stand up.
So I've known DK since a long time ago. We used to be in a band together, and I cannot wait to see him at the show and get the chance to hang out. It's so cool that this opportunity comes together where we have so many people, from the music community, from the local Hollywood days to the national acts, just, to have this event where we're all together hanging out and entertaining. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Bradley's fault. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
For sure. But keep going with it, Steve. It's all you.
The one question I have for Brad is Michael Grant still performing?
So, all right. So Michael Grant is going to come back and work with us at another time, as well as Hurricane. That's the reason why I didn't mention those two bands, and the reason why All or Nothing and Paradise City was added to the bill. We did lose 2 artists. One was due to logistical reasons. Everybody knows what's going on in the country right now. I'm not going to get into it and beat a dead horse. It's what it is. Price is constantly raising, and it costs to travel. I mean, Mike will tell you, anybody that travels will tell you. I mean, like it costs to be out, and if you don't have a show booked, it costs to be out there and have a day off in between. So it has to, especially when bands are coming from west to east and east to west, it has to make good logistical sense. And if it doesn't make good logistical sense, not only are you doing an in-service to the band and the promotion company, you're doing an in-service to the fans because they're not going to get the quality of a show that they expected for what they're paying their hard-earned money for. So sometimes you have to, shine on the side of business. Michael Grant was a personal situation that I'm not going to get into because it's personal to him. But just know that everything is cool. Like nothing is bad. There's no like ill will or nothing like that. Like Michael and I are homeboys. Like we talk all the time. Like so, I pick up the phone, call him. He picks up the phone, calls me. I make him crab cakes when he comes to town, homemade. Like, Michael's not. He's family. He's not going anywhere. So what's that?
You don't make them for me, like because they're not
You
kosher.
gotta never come to my house, dude. When you come over to my house, I'll whip up some crab cakes for you. You know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Jay knows I
Got
cook.
some Hershey's.
I make a mean bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So, but yeah, like Michael Grant unfortunately is not on the bill. We added Nitro Nitro to the bill, and I'm not even going to get into Nitro Nitro because I want people to just see Nitro Nitro for Nitro Nitro. Jay gets it, Bobby gets it. You got it.
Yes, I do.
So, and then we added All or Nothing, and All or Nothing is a great band out of the Nashville area right now. So. We have the youth movement as well. Like this isn't just about like putting on good rock shows. Like you have to evolve as well. And you know, that goes to anybody that's been doing it for a year, or anybody that's been doing it for 50 years. Like,
Yeah.
you know, your creative outlet has to flow. And like, it's no different from my standpoint as a promoter, or Michael's standpoint as an artist, Jay's standpoint as media personnel. Same thing with Psycho, Angel, and Bobby. All of you all do various things in the industry. You're not glued to one thing. You don't just do podcasts, or you don't just perform, or you don't just write music. You have to have that creative outlet. So that's what we want to do. We all want to work together, come together for one reason. I know it sounds hokey, or I know it sounds very like glitter and rainbows or whatever, like totally feel good story of the comeback story of the year or what have you. But I'm telling you now, like when you're truly in it for the best interest and for the passion drive rather than the financial drive, good things come together. So that's how I'm gonna look at it. You know, the reason why John's Crossing is on the bill, not just for the backline, but also for, you know, the faith behind it. You know, like I'm trying to turn over a new leaf in my life and be more positive. So this is going to be a positive fest. So we're looking forward to it. But yeah, DK, dude, we got to all link up when you come in for sure. And, you know, when we get together, it's always insane. Kicking Mountain Teams worked with us numerous times. So now that Michael and DK have their reunion, everything come full circle, man. So that's what it's about, is the, forgive me for saying it, but the bromances, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it is, you know, we're all in this together. You know, testosterone can't always be our handicap and our Achilles heel. So, you know.
Absolutely, 100%. So, Michael, bringing you back in as well, man. A couple of projects that we have yet to really get deep into, although you mentioned one of them briefly, was we haven't really talked about what you did with Blackheart Saints, and we really haven't talked much about Brand New Machine yet. So why don't you talk a little bit about those two respective projects and how they came about as well?
Sure. So real quickly, I see that DK put a message in there. So, dude, can't wait to see you. Still looking forward to it. And you're absolutely right. The last time I saw you, you were, I think, singing for Jet Boy. So, yeah, totally looking forward to hooking up and getting a chance to catch up after all these years. So, Brand New Machine, Blackheart Saints. So Blackheart Saints, I started recording some material for just some personal music I wanted to get out, and also, you know, some branding stuff, and that kind of morphed into a few other things. The Blackheart Saints thing was actually right around the time of Brand New Machine. So Brand New Machine was a Dallas-based band that it was this really kind of, I guess, unique situation. They were based in Dallas. They were working on their debut record, and they had a tour lined up. And something happened with their guitar player. Long story short, my former manager gave me a call and said, "Hey, got this band. They're very similar to what you did with Creatures. I think you would really enjoy the guys and understand the music. Would you come down and meet them and, you know, do an audition?" So, oddly enough, at the time, I was in Austin, Texas. I was living in LA. And I said, "Yeah, I'd love to meet him. I'm going to be in town." And he said, "Oh, here now. Can you come down to Mates for this afternoon?" And I said, "Dude, I'm not in LA, I'm in Austin." And he goes, "Oh, okay. Well, let me talk to the guys and when you come home." And I said, "We'll be back for another week." So I said, "Listen, let them do their auditions in LA. If they don't find who they're looking for, I'll be happy to go up to Dallas and meet them when they get back in town." So he said, "Okay, I'll talk to the guys. I'll give you a call back." About 45 minutes later, my phone rings, and he says, "Hey, I told the guys they're actually going to come back to Dallas early because they want to meet you in Dallas." So I ended up driving from Austin to go meet them and hit it off immediately. And I don't know if you've heard the record, but it is this very cool, like, you know, AC/DC meets Velvet Revolver, just straight up rock and roll. I mean, I love that record.
Yeah, the devil made me do it.
Yeah, so I end up hooking up with them, and we did a couple of rehearsals in Dallas that week. We ended up doing Jewel Trees, opening up for Queensryche. And then we all ended up flying back to LA because they had shows in India with Guns N' Roses. So here's this weird situation, right? At that time, Steven and I took a break from the band and we were doing other projects. And then I find myself doing a record band, this new band, Brand New Machine, and then finding myself on a plane to India for Guns N' Roses, which was super weird because I'm so used to playing those songs. You know, I'm there and I'm hearing the tunes. It's just weird not to be the guy playing. You know what I mean? And at that time, it was Axl's version where he had Tommy Stinson playing bass, he had DJ playing guitar. DJ and I used to be in a band together because I took his place in Beautiful Creatures. When I left Beautiful Creatures, DJ and I had a band that we did that was 10th Street Management, Alan Kovac, you know, Motley Crue Management. And we did that project for almost 2 years before I left and I started working with Steve. So I get to India, and now instead of playing those songs, I'm out on tour with GNR, and then I'm running into all these people that I've known for a number of years. So it was amazing, right? It was just a world. We got back to after that tour, and they asked me to stay on, help write some new songs for the record, record the record, and then join the band. So then I was with Brand New Machine for a couple of years, out toured in support of the record. And I'm really proud of that record. It's really great rock and roll material on that record.
Very cool, man. That's super duper awesome for sure. Bobby, let's bring you back in, brother.
So the big thing is, what I'd like to know is, how did you and Steven really hook up? How did all that come about right there, you know, with the whole thing? And with Ari and that, so when you put the band together, were you looking at doing it as an original band, or were you looking at doing it as, I don't want to use the word tribute because Steven was in the band, but
yeah, I get what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying? You know where I'm going. Because, you know, you're basing everything off the GNR thing. Now with GNR out on tour, are you looking at a nostalgia act or what?
So, you know, the thing with Steven is we put out original music over the years, right? So I wrote the song Alive that went out with his autobiography. That ended up being a New York Times bestseller. Ended up debuting the tune on the Howard Stern show. And Harper Collins, the publisher, had an exclusive on that song for the first 3 months of the release, where if you bought the book, you got a free download. And between the book and his TV stardom, because, you know, he was on a bunch of reality shows, it catapulted us into this whole different plane of existence where we were so busy. I didn't have time to do the bands like Bachelor Pussycat anymore or any of the other stuff. I was totally dedicated to the band with Steven. So between the book, the release of that single, and the TV stuff, we were working nonstop. We got to a point where we decided to take a break, and that's when Steven did his Adler record. I did a record with a band called Anchored, actually here in Dallas. They were our opening act for one of the summer tours. We ended up going out on the road with the Old Naval Society. And on their second record, they called me and said, "Hey, we need somebody to help us write this record. Would you come in and do the songs for us?" So during that break period, I do this record with Anchored. And dude, that was another amazing experience. We ended up doing the record at NRG Studios with Jay Baumgartner, who's done Linkin Park, Papa Roach, No Doubt, all those bands, one of my dream producers. So we ended up in the studio for 3 months, did a collaboration with Snoop Dogg. So I ended up writing a song and doing a video with Snoop, which you guys may have seen on my website or, you know, other places. So I finished that record. I did the touring cycle. When that was done, I got the call for Brand New Machine. Did that record, did that touring cycle. So at this point now, I mean, we're talking 4 or 5 years. And Steven did his record pretty early on during that break. And then for like 2 or 3 years, he was just kind of laying low. So to get back to your question, in 2017, he called and said, hey, you know, I want to get the band back together. And we didn't really have any kind of plans as far as, okay, are we going to do just the GNR material? Are we going to write some new stuff? You know, we were just kind of feeling things out. And I flew back and forth to LA because I moved to Dallas around that time. I flew back and forth to LA probably 3 or 4 times before we ever played a note. And we were just kind of talking and kind of figuring out, well, you know, what do we want to do? So at that time, we flew up Ari. And you guys have probably seen the videos. If you've been to any of the shows, you know how great Ari sounds. I think he does an Axl that's pretty spot on with Appetite for Destruction. You know, the kid sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And we did some rehearsals with him, went great. But then management at the time decided they wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted to bring in somebody from American Idol to do a kind of a different twist on the material. So we had Konstantin Maroulis.
Yep.
And you know, Konstantin,
Who's now doing Journey stuff.
Yeah. And, you know, Konstantin was great. He just has a different take on things because I feel he's more kind of like Broadway. You know, he did Jekyll and Hyde. And he's really great at what he does. He also did, what's that rock and roll Broadway musical.
School of Rock.
Not School of Rock, the other one that they turned into a movie.
Rock of Ages?
Rock of Ages. I think he did that as well.
He
Well,
did.
the funny thing with him,
He actually did Broadway and he was in the movie.
Yes. He
so
played a different role in the movie.
Michael, right behind me, speaking of, you know, that whole thing, Justin Guarini lives right behind my house.
Yeah.
You know, so it's...
So we ended up bringing in Konstantin, and we did a couple warm-up shows in LA, and then we did a tour of Australia. We came back and we did a few more shows in the States. But it was just a different chemistry, you know. And here's the thing: Konstantin's a great performer and he's a great singer. But I think his strengths are much more in that kind of clean, kind of showman, kind of Broadway kind of feel. And Guns N' Roses is very different from that. And I think at the time, you know, Steven wanted to make some changes to kind of get back to, you know, the strengths of the music. So it was a no-brainer. You know, we called Ari, and we brought in Tanya O'Callahan to play bass. And, you know, we also brought in a different rhythm guitar player than the lineup we had in Australia. And those guys who did the Australia tour and a couple of shows in LA, they're great guys, great musicians. I think it was just more like a chemistry kind of feel thing.
Absolutely.
And it makes things kind of difficult, right? So I remember playing those shows, and it was a little hard to play the songs. Things felt a little wobbly, you know? And last thing we want to go out and do is do the material and not do it justice.
Yeah.
So Steven, being very smart, just decided, okay, we're going to make some changes. And we brought in Tanya, Ari, and Adrian. And like literally we did like one rehearsal, and I don't even think we went through everything at that rehearsal. And it was just so easy and so natural. It was like, and I looked at Steven, and I remember saying to him before we brought those guys in, I said, has it always been this difficult? Like, I don't remember this being so difficult back in the day when we were doing this before. And he said the same thing to me. He had the same feeling. He's like, it's just the chemistry connection is not there. So we brought those guys in, and it was instant. And then the next day we started doing our shows and jumped on a plane and did a whole weekend's worth of dates. And that was the lineup since, you know. We worked on some material, but then the lockdown thing happened, and man, that really kind of threw a wrench in stuff. We were actually working at one point with Jeff Pilson, recording some material. He was producing it. And so since we've been back out playing, the focus has been just on the live show and kind of getting back in the swing of things. We haven't had much of an opportunity to kind of get back to the material that we were working on before everybody was forced to stay home for a year and a half. So, I'm hoping that down the road we'll kind of circle back to that. So it's not a conscious effort either way of, well, is this just all GNR? So is that more of kind of a tribute thing, or is there going to be original music? We're just out having a good time. And I really think the show that we do is so different from the show that the other guys do.
Yeah.
It has its own flavor to it. And people have a great time, and it's like the steam that it's built up and all the feedback has been amazing. It's like really
Well, you brought up one thing. Let me interject right here. You brought it up. Tanya left, and you said the chemistry was great. Bringing in a new person now, has it changed the dynamic now?
Well, we've been fortunate where it hasn't changed the dynamic because we've had somebody like Todd Kearns from Slash's band out on the road with us. He was out with us most of last year, right? It's like a no-brainer.
Right.
And with Todd, we didn't do any rehearsals. We had a big show that we were playing in New York. It was a whole weekend, but the first show was in New York. It was us and Slaughter and a couple other bands.
Yeah.
And we just did sound check with Todd and did the show, and it was like a no-brainer. It was automatic, So that's amazing. And we've been lucky in that regard, I guess, because Tanya was part of that original lineup that we had going a few years back, but she got a wonderful opportunity with Whitesnake.
Of course. I mean, look, God bless her. I mean, to get a gig like that, anybody would, it's none of us can be selfish on anything in life. And when opportunities arise, it's like, look, you got to strike when the iron's hot, you got to go with it.
Yep.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. And before we bring Angel back in, I'm just kind of curious, Michael, have you and Steven, being that you two have like the longest tenured history together, have you had any talks about any of the material from the Adler record? And don't get me wrong, Ari and Jacob are definitely different singers with some different tones. And I love Jacob's tone for what it's worth. I really love that record. I think the one that you hated is a banger of a song. But have you guys ever had any conversations about anything off of that record? I'm just simply spotlighting that record simply because it's more recent, I guess, even though it's 10 years.
So we do a couple songs from that record. And actually we've had Jacob come up a few times and do like Good to Be Bad or the one that you hated. So, when they were out doing that, supporting that record, I don't know what the set list was. I don't know how much of it was GNR stuff and how much of it was that record. But we try to throw in, a handful of songs from that record into our set. So it all really kind of depends on how Steven's feeling and what he wants to do that night. Sometimes the set list will change from night to night. And then I always love this. So My Michelle is never written on the set list, but I'll just start it randomly just to make sure everybody's on their toes, just to make sure everybody's paying attention. I won't tell them when I'm going to do it. I feel out the crowd, but I can guarantee you at some point you're going to hear me start that song, and then everybody just snaps to the center of the stage and we kill it,
Nice.
So, it's nice because we have an amazing catalog to pull from. But we do try to mix in some of the Adler record in there.
Awesome. And then just a fun one. Do you have a favorite GNR song to play?
Sorry about that.
No problem.
Blank. There's so many good ones.
Totally.
But so not like one of the big hits or not like one of the videos, let's say. Anything goes. I absolutely love it.
Mine's got to be Rocket Queen. Every time I hear Rocket Queen, it's just like,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, they're all great.
That groove is just badass right there. Fucking that whole fucking E thing right there. It's just like,
yeah.
what the hell?
Nice.
It's amazing when you think about that record because they were so young when they wrote that. And when you hear those songs, there's such maturity, almost like an old soul to that album, to that music. It's lightning in a bottle. You have 5 guys with 5 vastly different influences, but when they came together, they created this magic,
It's like the first Aerosmith album.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it is. You hear that and you go, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's crazy too, because you get the old saying of like, you've had your whole career to write that first record before anybody else starts like getting involved in how they want to change you and stuff like that. But just the idea of putting together a record like the first Aerosmith record, like Appetite for Destruction, where everything is just on point and you don't even really ever get the urge to skip a song.
Yeah. I mean, it's solid from start to finish.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. For GNR stuff, You Could Be Mine is always my number one track. I just love that song so much. I think it's super fantastic.
Hey, Michael, I want to bring up one thing, and it's probably the fucking elephant in the thing. And we all love Steven, and we love him to death.
Mm-hmm.
And I've known him for years over everything. But Steven goes up and down on a lot of things. And look, Angel does disabilities. I have a niece with autism has autism, who's manic and everything. You guys being in a band,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not doing it out of any disrespect.
No.
How do you guys deal with that as that? And Steven, where he is and where he was.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys sit there and go, okay, look, we get it?
I mean, I think back in the day, it was a little more of a roller coaster. I mean, I've lived it. I've been working with him since 2004.
Yeah.
Right? So I've seen the peaks and valleys. But I've really noticed just since we came back around to getting out and doing this again, how much he's leveled off, which is amazing. And how much happier he is as a person. So that's super encouraging because, we've been able to play a lot of great shows and have a lot of great opportunities. And he's solid, he's playing great. He's happy to be there. So, I think that as far as where he's at in his life, sorry, I don't know why it keeps doing that. Where he's at in his life, he's in such a better place and a healthier place that.
Well, what I'm trying to get at, really, Michael, you, Ari, everybody, even Tanya, when you're in the band, look, you're members of a band, but it's difficult when there's somebody in the band that has a problem or a disability, and I'll use. You guys have been amazingly supportive every time we've seen you at M3 and everything. Steven couldn't be where he is today without people like you in the band.
Oh, I mean, that's nice of you to say. I appreciate it. He's larger than life. I mean, whether it's him hanging out backstage or on the stage. I mean, he's such a big.
Oh, his heart's amazing.
Hearted character. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And I think no matter what band you're in, it's a band, right? And you have multiple people. Like marriage, I'm sure is hard enough.
Of course.
But one person. Now you've got 4 or 5 that you're married to, right? So you have to approach it with an attitude of, I'm grateful that I'm here and I'm going to live in the moment, because it could be a number of things where it could be kind of taken away. It doesn't have to be that person or the other situation, somebody with a problem. It could be a number of things, So I think I've just kind of viewed it. I got to a point where it's like, I'm so grateful to do what I do that as long as it's in front of me, I'm going to be happy and I'm going to give it 110%,
Well, the greatest thing that, and the 3 of us can really commend everybody in the band about, You guys never exploited Steven. You know where he was, but you've been such a rock to him through everything. And look, you know, his life's been out there through the MTV shows and everything else. We've all seen it. We've seen Steven, and what I'm really putting out, Angel's done the disability end. I'm involved in it 24/7. Jay's been around a lot of things, but Steven, you didn't join this band because Steven Adler, and you wouldn't be with him.
Yeah.
You know, look, dude, I commend all of you guys and everything that you do, because you make Steven who he is, and we love him to death. And this is great. And thank you so much.
I appreciate that. And, you know, it's definitely a team. And, you know, I wouldn't do it if I didn't love him. You know what I mean? Like, I really have always wanted to see the best for him. And we all do. And, you know, I just think that we all feel fortunate to be a part of it, because, you know, not only do I get to obviously play and tour with him in particular and the rest of the guys in the band that I adore, but we're, you know, bringing this music to fans who absolutely love it. I mean, what a treat. If you would have told me when I was that 12-year-old kid who took the guitar out of the back of the closet that one day I'd be spending 18 years of my life, you know, touring with this guy and bringing these songs to the world. I mean, among the other bands that I get to do, but I mean, that in particular, I would have said, you're crazy.
Yeah.
Look, I see it with you. Ryan Cook is another one who we love to death. Ryan with Ace. And, you know, it's they never take advantage of where they're so grateful. And you guys are amazing. And thank you guys for doing it. And we love you. And we're here to support you.
Thanks.
Absolutely. 100% for sure. And Michael, we're going to get ready to cut you loose because we want you to be able to enjoy the rest of your evening. But Angel, I want to kick it down to you just to make sure that you didn't have any final questions or that anything didn't pop up real quick from the fans.
There's no final question. I just want to say, I mean, M3 2019, seeing you for the first time was just fucking kicking ass, because it was so comical. The first song, everybody was like this, looking at okay. And by the second song, everybody was rocking. And afterwards, everybody was just showing love to the singer. I don't want to mispronounce his name because he was our very first guest.
Ari.
Yep, Ari. Everybody was just showing love, which is the opposite of another website where people just put each other down. So it was just nice that for being a young guy, that was like his first major concert like that, for everybody to want to take a picture with him, give him words of encouragement. Even on the M3 Facebook, people were just posting positive comments like, wow. And that was just so fucking cool. And even the next day when we had the new singer from Quiet Riot, that was kicking ass as well.
Mm-hmm.
So just want to, you know, thank you for keeping rock music alive. And man, I'm a big fan, so I'm always looking forward to.
Michael, before you go, I got to make you laugh. So this right here is when Steven played M3 the one time. I'm sitting there shooting him in the pit, and it's me and Mark Weiss and everything, and he's throwing these at us like they're fucking darts. And he's laughing his ass off, and he's sitting, and I'll never forget. He goes, "Did I get you?" And I'm like, you know how Steven is. I'm like, dude, I'm like, he's throwing them like lawn fucking darts, and he's so accurate. And I'm like,
he's surprisingly accurate.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny. I remember a few years back when Whitesnake headlined M3. Just speaking of accuracy with fun stuff like that, like Joel Hoekstra shot a guitar pick straight at me. I've known Joel for years. I don't know if he was aiming for me or I just happened to be in the vicinity, but I've known Joel forever and he's fantastic. But he shot that thing so straight, it hit me in the chest. I really thought that I got shot by a gun. Like it It hurt, dude. Like I was literally like, whoa. And I saw it bounce off me and land in front of me. And I'm never going to trample somebody for a guitar pick. And I did get that one. But that was the one time I was like, no, man, after the pain I just went through, I'm getting this one.
Right?
Jay, I'm going to make you laugh right now. So this was at Philly. Fucking Vivian Campbell threw this. He plays with fucking metal picks. I'm in the front and he's hitting me and it hit me in the head. I'm going, what the fuck? And he's looking at it's like somebody, I'm like, Jesus Christ. I'm like, what the hell? Dude, did you get the pick? Yeah, it's almost fucking embedded in my head.
Yeah, you can take out an eye with that thing.
Did he hit like a bullseye? Like bullseye.
I mean, what? There, you can hear
Oh
that.
my God.
That thing's got to be pretty heavy.
Maybe he's
And it's Viv, and you know he fucking, you know, it's.
You know what I love about Vivian Campbell? I mean, outside of his playing and his history and all that stuff, Dio, the Holy Diver Tour, that was one of the first concerts I ever saw. And that was Vivian playing, right? So when I was 10 years old, I saw that tour, and I was never the same since. But have you seen that he has an Instagram for his dog?
Yeah.
No.
I seen it. Yeah, he does. I've seen it. It's so funny. It is the funniest thing.
Yeah, so you've seen it.
Yeah, because he kind of has the dog, and he's like in the background, saying someone's always watching him.
I love it. Yeah, I guess he brings the dog out with him, but he has a whole Instagram for his dog. So on top of the amazing playing and his incredible career, I just love the fact that he has an Instagram for his dog, and he has all these.
It's a rescue dog. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a dog that's a rescue.
Shots with the dog.
And you think about it. Look, Michael. You're going to be at BLE. We're going to have Steve Brown, who's been doing double duty in Def Leppard, on both ends. But so looking forward to BLE, hanging with you. I mean, it's going to be like a love fest there, and God, and like I said, Steve. Anybody ever wants to meet the most lovable person in the world, Steven is that guy that you meet and you're going,
yes.
You meet him once, you love him forever.
Yeah. He's incredibly charming. I will say that.
Absolutely. My favorite little Steven story that I'll throw in as an end to this. Not the last time you guys played M3, but probably 3 years ago when you guys played M3, because you played M3 twice in a 3-year span or something like that.
Yeah,
and,
2 years in a row.
Yeah. Okay. It was back to back. So I was hanging out with my buddy Sydney. Bobby, you know Sydney. Angel, you might know Sydney as well.
Yeah.
So we were hanging in the back, and you know how the dressing rooms were up on that top little area. You could kind of look over the railing where the piano is that leads out to the pool. And I've known Steven as well now for a few years, and he's always been so cordial to me and always treats me great. And so I was just standing with Sydney, and Sydney's always wanted to meet him. And she happened to look over, and she's like, I think that's Steven. And Steven has that very, recognizable hair. And I was like, yeah, that's him right there for sure. She's like, I would really, really like to meet him. I was like, he's great, Sydney. I was like, you want to meet him? I can help you with that. That's fine. She's like, that would be great. I was like, well, let's go. We hop in the elevator. We come on down, and he kind of vanished somewhere. And he might have either popped into catering, or he might even have just been behind somebody. Because he's not the tallest gentleman in the world. But he reappears, and we were just waiting. He was having a conversation, and so we were just waiting our turn. And eventually he kind of looks past the person he's talking to, sees me, kind of goes back to the conversation, but then breaks off in that typical Steven way. Hey, what's up? Hyper energetic, just really, really nice. It's like, dude, what's up? Comes over, gives me a big old hug, and it's just Steven being Steven. And I was like, Steven, it's so great to see you, brother. And he's like, I'm like, man, I want to introduce you to somebody. And he looks over and he's like, are you going to introduce me to this lovely young lady right here? I was like, I am going to introduce you to this lovely young lady right here. And you just see her melting into her shoes.
Yeah.
And he's just great. He's just such a genuine human being, and it's super duper cool on that. And Steven was like, Jay, do you have your phone? I'm like, Steven, are we taking a photo? He's like, yes, we are. I'm like, okay, looks like we're doing photo time. He's just a really, really good guy. And And even just getting off Steven, I mean, Michael, that also goes for you, man. You've always been such a genuine
Yeah,
guy.
thank you,
You've always
Michael,
been
so
such
much.
a great person to get to spend time with as well. And again, man, thank you so much for taking some time out of your evening to do the show, man. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you in 2 weeks.
Yes.
Thank you, guys. I was so happy that you invited me on the show. It's great to sit here and talk with you guys. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks at the Masquerade. Everybody out there, if you want to go to my website, michaelthomas19.com, michaelthomas19.com. You can check out the single and the video that I just released a few months ago.
I just posted it. I just put that out there. A little bit of, pure energy.
Yeah, and all the tour dates are up there as well. So if we're coming to a city close to you, make sure you get out there, but try to make it down to the Masquerade because that's going to be one hell of a show.
Hey, Michael, so it's michaelthomas19.com?
Yep, michaelthomas19.com.
And that's the same Twitter handle as well.
Yep.
Nice. Any
You'll
significance?
find me on Facebook, michaelthomas19 as well. I try to do a lot of my social media. Anyway.
Now, what's the 19 for?
It's actually my birthday.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Me too. 19.
Mine is July 29th, but I'm not saying anything that day.
oh, well. Are you serious? It's the 29th, really?
Yeah.
Well, looks like we're going to have a birthday.
I'll be
celebration.
14 again.
Absolutely.
I thought it was 17.
We're gonna have a little
I was
birthday
going to have
celebration.
Kip Winger sing 17.
Nice.
He's
I got a chance
never 17.
That's so
call Kip
awesome.
Winger.
But Michael, thank you again.
Thank you.
We really appreciate it, Michael. Michael, hang on for just a split second, but when we get off the air, brother. But
Yeah.
Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much. Friends, family, supporters of BLE, friends and family, supporters of the Metal Summit. We do this show because we love it. We get such bitching guests like Michael, and we just love the fact that you guys like the show and support it. So follow all the Metal Summit guys on their respective handles, Instagram, Facebook, and everything. And we will see you guys all in 2 weeks in Philadelphia for Masquerade. It's going to be a ball. It's a true rock and roll experience.
Ted Poley Friday night.
Absolutely. We got Ted Poley on Friday. We got Michael on Friday. It's going to be fantastic. Guest announcement on Friday. We're going to have a guest from up north, fans. That's all you get to know about it. But we're really looking forward to it and a fresh, brand new episode next Wednesday of the Metal Summit. So thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys real soon. Take care. Have a great weekend. Thank you again, Michael Thomas from Steven Adler's band for spending his evening with us. And Metal Summoners, we will see you guys in a week. We love you. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.